everybody, I'm author R.G. Long, and today I'm going to be sharing with you some writing tips. I've actually been writing epic fantasy books for 8 years now. That's both a long time and not long at all. I know there are authors out there who've been writing for 20, 30 plus years, and I'm inspired not only by, the creation, the great works and stories that they've been able to make, but also just like their stubborn refusal to give up. Because I feel like I want to be in that camp, like that just refusal to stop writing because you just have more stories to tell. And so it's been really cool to look back over my last 8 years of writing and kind of see where I've gotten better. And it's been really, really cool to compare like the books that I'm writing right now to the books that I started writing and wrote 8 years ago. And there's a lot of difference between then and now. I'll get to there in a little bit. I don't know if you have the robot who shall not be named because she's always listening. She's actually over there and connected to Amazon, right? You know what I'm talking about? This particular robot every now and then will ask me to rate a product or a book that I've gotten on Amazon. And honestly, it's been fine to just, yell out 4 stars, 5 stars, whatever, to the robot, because it's not really a big deal. It doesn't affect me personally what, I thought of the little USB cords that I had to buy. Sure, they are USB cords. 5 stars. Good job. But that rating becomes a little bit more personal when it's a book. And as an indie author, somebody who's been publishing, I know how important ratings and reviews are for fellow authors. And so I always try to give a very honest rating, but also I'm that guy who's going to skew towards 5 stars. You probably could infer that about me, but that's me. I'm going to be a little bit more positive about the books, again, because I know how important those high ratings are for authors, because ratings are cool. They're really helpful. But there's some critics out there. And we're going to get to this in a little bit. There are people who will 1-star anything just because they disagreed with what the author said on social media, or they didn't enjoy a particular setting, or, and this is one of my personal favorites, they didn't actually read the description of the book. I have several author friends who mention that their books are violent, or that they swear in their books, or that they contain naughty scenes, things like that. And then people will review the book saying, 1 star, I can't believe this author actually swears. I'm reading the description of the book, and I see here that the author mentions in the description that that's what the book is going to have. Why are you 1-starring a book because it delivered on what it promised it was going to have? I've actually seen some of those authors turn those 1-star ratings into advertisements for their books. So hey, be careful. You never know. There are some critics though, and sometimes critics are going to be fair. We need to have our reviewed, our works looked at and looked at critically. That's fine. But being critical for the sake of being critical, I'm not really there for that. For example, let me let you know. Let's see. It looks like a couple weeks ago, maybe last month, I received an email from a reader, a subscriber to my email list, which I appreciate. And it says, "Hi, is there a map of Galen, books 13 through 15 in the Legends of Gilead series?" Yes, there is a map. It's in the, the automated welcome to the RG Long subscription emails that you get out. And I sent it in there. I don't know why this particular person didn't get it. It's totally fine. Not exactly the point of the email. Also, new line. Does anyone check before a book is released? Books 1 through 12 have errors on just about every page. Now here's the great thing about that. Here's what's really fun. Yes, lots of people check the books before they go out. Actually, in the Legends of Gilead, there are 15 books, so there are a ton, but each book has been through several rounds of not only like readers editing the books and sending me the mistakes that they find, but also like paid professional editors who I hired to read through the books and show me the errors and things like that. And honestly, this type of email doesn't really bother me because I'm here for it. In fact, my reply was, hey, here's a link to the Gallon map. And I sent him a Dropbox link. I said, I'm sorry about the errors. I've had several editors provide me their services. Could you point out a spot or two for me to check? I'd love to correct where needed. Enjoy the journey. It's how I sign off everything. And you know what's fun is on Amazon through Kindle, you can actually poke at your ebook and say, this is an error that I'd like the author to fix. And Amazon will send us a notification, like a quality review, to where we either will say, yes, this is an error and I will fix it, or no, it's not. It's intended to be that way. And then whichever we choose, Amazon reviews it and then releases the book. And as an author who's gotten some quality reviews, if I didn't get to them in a timely manner, it actually puts on the book description, quality review alert. So to let people know that someone has issued a quality alert for the book and that the author, me, hasn't gotten back to it. So, hey, reader beware, right? And so for me in this email, I'm genuinely asking, what errors are you seeing? Because every book has been through a couple rounds of edits. Every book has been through a paid professional editor. And so if they're finding some errors in the books, I absolutely want to know where they are so I can fix them. I will gladly fix them. It's actually pretty easy to do. The reply was, hi, regarding the errors, we've skipped over that I've sent this reader a map. That's fine. Regarding the errors, I suggest you read any chapter. You will find errors in just about every paragraph. Cool. Okay, so I did not reply to that email because I did not want to get into a fight. Because at this point, we've moved from any type of specific errors you could have showed me to very specific and vague. So if you're a writer, you're an author right now, and somebody's offering you general criticism, and not just like critique, but criticism, that's something you can probably throw away. Now, if you want, you can look and see if there's a kernel of truth to that. Regarding this reader's emails, absolutely, there have been errors in my book. I want to fix them and try to. And so I'm fine with that because I want to know specifically what's the error I need to fix. In fact, my most recent book that I got back from my editor had a very specific fix that needed to happen, where my editor basically said, Ronald, this seems out of character for this particular person. And all the reading that they've done for me up to this point, I trust their opinion. They'd say, I would expect your character to do something like this unless you as the author very much intend for them to be out of character at this moment. And for me as an author, I really loved getting their feedback because I was able to say, you know what, you're right, this scene needs some correction. Do you see the difference between the general criticism, you've got errors on every page, to the specific critique? Hey, you know what? This one scene doesn't feel right. Are you sure that's what you want? That's huge when it comes to you as an author writing your books. If you get general criticism, your book's terrible, there are errors on every page, more than likely you can throw that out, unless you haven't paid for an editor or read your books at all. But if you get specific criticism, hey, I've found this one error and it seems like it's kind of a big deal. Did you mean to write this? Dive in and fix that stuff because you can. What I'm trying to tell you is learn how to filter out criticism versus critique. Criticism just points out what's wrong, right? Hey, there are tons of errors in your books. They suck. Well, okay, that's not going to help you as an author. Versus learning to specifically say, hey, chapter 1 seems a little rough. In fact, it seems different than the whole rest of the book. Do you want to read over that and maybe see if that's what you meant? That's huge because it's specific critique for you as an author. Or even maybe it's things like, hey, your characters need to have a little bit more dialogue. Or hey, you seem to be telling a lot more than you are showing. These are things that you need to learn how to filter out. Because if you just listen to critics all the time, you're never going to deliver a perfect book. I am never going to deliver a perfect book. It's not going to happen. And so you got to learn how to filter if you're going to write books. But get better. Don't be above receiving some critique, because there is always going to be someone who can see our flaws a lot better than we can. I don't enjoy getting critiqued. It's not fun for me. I don't get really excited when someone tells me they found something wrong with my writing. What I try to do is realize that it's an opportunity for me to be a better author, so that anything I write from this point on is going to be better because of the critique that I've received up to this point. So what about you? Has anybody ever trashed all of your collected works because they were so riddled with errors they were almost unreadable? I'd love to let you vent about it a little bit in the comments below. Don't name drop, we don't need that mess. But if you need someone to vent to, the comments are open for you. Or, and maybe more beneficial for everyone, if there was a bit of advice that you learned from somebody, absolutely share that. Because we want all authors to be better. Because what we want are our stories to be fantastic, our stories to be worth reading and worth sharing. Hey, thanks so much for listening, and I hope that you as an author are going to write some fantastic books. I'm really looking forward to hearing from you and hearing how you are getting better as an author. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'd love to have you around to see what videos we put out from this point on, and would love for you to see what the books that I've got available on Amazon are for you. So check out all the links down below in the description. My name's author R.G. Long. Enjoy the journey.